Welcome to the DJN TV Chill Room Chat, your space to unwind and talk shop. This episode is sponsored by MadeByDJs.com, innovative tools designed specifically by DJs for DJs. DJEventPlanner.com, the industry standard for streamlining your business and booking faster. And DJRequests.com, the easiest way to manage your dance floor's vibe in real time. Support the show by using our Amazon affiliate link at djntv.com/Amazon. Now, let's get into the mix.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We like spontaneous around here, don't we, Kevin? Yeah. Kevin
No comment.
came up with a topic that he's been brewing on for the last couple hours, right? Like he's been thinking about something.
He's like, no.
No.
Yeah, well, you know what? Guess what? You did now. So,
What did I say? I don't remember.
I look. This is your show. I'm giving you
It's
the
not my
control.
show. Well, I want to make sure then, if it's my show, that we give a shout out to DJN TV and of course all their sponsors. Without them,
Of course.
we're nothing. Well, we're just KJ's, not on YouTube.
Thumbs up, because you got to do that before we screw this whole thing up. So yeah,
Yeah, and
if
also
you enjoy the show when it's done, great. If not, they had nothing to do with it.
that's right.
You know?
They disavowed everything we did, like Mission Impossible. We don't know these people. They somehow hijacked our channel and got their show posted. I don't know how.
No, but in all honesty, every week we do these, and I like to be spontaneous. Just here we go. I don't want things to sound like they're scripted or, these shows. It should be just three of us in here, just, battling on about something. And tonight I give you the floor, Kevin, and I welcome whatever you have to say. Keep it clean,
Keep it
you
clean.
know, and
Well-
we'll go around the room. Yeah.
I don't know, the thing I was thinking was basically something I just recently heard about, someone, without naming names, they had a
Mhm.
regular gig and they got their check and there was a problem with the check. Is
That
there any,
sounds awfully familiar.
I don't know who it's, I just heard about this. So it's like, is there any kind of karaoke location red flags that should, maybe be a warning? And if this should happen to you, do they get put sort of in the penalty box for future payments or anything like that? Are you going to go to a contractual thing that they have to sign for every event, or just, what do you do if you have that problem? Or do you start looking for other venues thinking, there's going to be it's going to get worse?
Interesting point, Kevin. And without mentioning names to whoever this happened to, uh, no, you don't put them in a penalty box, I don't think. I mean, because everybody runs into issues. I mean, you, Matt, we've all had issues, right?
Yeah.
Where something didn't clear, something, you just didn't have, whatever.
Mhm.
But my way of thinking about this is normally it's in a baseball game, 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah.
Mine, for this type, it's 2 and you're up. Then I gotta really change the rules if it happens twice.
Mhm.
So if you were giving me a check and now I've gotten 2 checks that didn't clear, well, it has to be either cash at the end of the night, no more
Mm-hmm.
checks, or Venmo me before,
Mm-hmm.
the night's over and whatever. I mean, look, we all had situations in our life where, I hate to say it, but shit happens, you know? And sometimes it's beyond our control. Maybe it was something we overlooked, right?
Mm.
And, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, this is something that I've dealt with on my end as well. The pizza place I play at on Saturdays, where for about a month and a half, something like that, there was a string of checks. I'd go to deposit them with my phone with the mobile app, and when I would go to hit deposit, then it would come up and say like duplicate check or whatever. And I'm like, well, what the heck is that? The first time it happened, it kind of threw me for a loop. And I'm like, well, I'll just try again. And then it did the same thing again. So I'm like, ah. So I ended up having to come back the next day and get another check from them. And it came out of the same checkbook that they wrote the original check in, right? And so the
A
original check,
different check number, right?
different check number, but
Yeah.
out of the same checkbook. So say like check 6037, whatever,
Yeah.
right? That's the original check. The next one would be 6038. Okay. So 37 didn't go through, but then when they wrote the next one down in the book, that one goes through magically. What's that about? You know? And so
Huh.
that happened to me like about maybe 6 times over about a month or a month and a half, something like that, whatever.
All right.
So
Now, when people are viewing this right now on YouTube, repeat that. They were different check numbers, right? But they went through the second time, correct?
yes, same checkbook, same exact
Yeah.
checkbook. It's just the next check in the book after the one that they had written originally. So the first one didn't go through, but then the second one did.
Like
It
somehow
just
that number had already been used, like there was
mind
two
blowing. I
previous.
don't get
Yeah,
it,
it didn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
So since
I've
then,
I've got
I
a
haven't
theory.
had the issue since then.
I've
Mm.
got a theory on that.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know how some people pay things online using their checking account? Perhaps. And just look, I don't know your venue. You know your venue better than I do.
Yeah.
Maybe they paid for an order and they used that check number, but not the paper check. Is that a possibility?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know what their
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not making
I don't know what their
excuses.
routines
I'm
are
just
for
yeah.
stuff like that, but yeah.
Post your comments below because I'm curious how this would happen. So
Yeah.
second time was a charm, right? Every time this happened, or
Yes.
Twice.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
Exact same.
I'd have to go back there again the next day, but you know, so that it was my Saturday gig. I have a Sunday gig in the town that's like, next door to this town. So it wasn't that big of a deal for me to go back to that bar again,
right.
get another check, and then go to my gig after that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there was like 6 times that it happened, and
Now,
it,
luckily, you didn't get charged by your bank because the bank said nope, this was
It didn't
already
go through. Yeah.
right,
So
right.
you didn't get the
Thank God you
yeah
didn't get
service.
reoccurring fees. Right. Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, really. I'm trying to think about, like
yeah.
and the only thing
They
I can think
rectified
of,
it, so it hasn't happened since then. So everything is cool now. But you
so
know,
that's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought if the second went through and it was on a different account, then they had forgotten they'd closed out that first checking account and they wrote one
Mm.
on the wrong checking account. But since
no,
you said
same
it was
account,
the exact
same
same,
checkbook,
it's
next
not
check in
that.
the book.
So
Yeah,
Just a different number on the check and it
yeah,
worked.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was
Strange.
weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Well, The only other thing, and this is, I'll leave it at this, is a lot of people have been used pay by credit card or debit cards,
Mhm.
and it sometimes now I like one of my venues, it takes 2, 3 days for them to get that money into their account.
Mhm.
So by the time you went back and said, yeah, this is saying this, whatever,
Mhm.
that second one they gave you, it's clear because all the money's in it. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know,
I
but on the day of when I would, when it would be like an issue where I'd have to go back, the next day.
mm,
So let's say I got the check on Saturday night, but and it didn't clear that night. The next day I would try it again, and it did the same thing again, like in the afternoon. I, just in case like something was going on, like with the bank on their end, because like a lot of banks do like um
Updates for the
all their
program.
updating and stuff like that in the middle of the night, whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe, okay, I'll try it tomorrow and see if it goes through then. But it come up the same thing again, saying duplicate check. You
that's
know,
the part that throws me
me
off.
too. Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Does
but
your bank shut down for maintenance, or that's what mine calls it?
they do
Hmm.
Okay.
on especially on the
On the
weekends.
weekends, overnight, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
that's
they
that's
should
my
just say was shut down for maintenance, not
well,
Yep.
accused.
Yep.
yeah. You
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
into it when it's shut down for maintenance.
Right,
You can't
right.
sign it. You can't do anything.
Yep.
That's I mine does that too. Now I have had not we're sort of going off on a tangent. I have had checks where
Go
I
ahead.
do the mobile and it just says I'm sorry I can't process this. It doesn't say duplicate check number, and I end up having to take it in. I guess because it's too much information, just can't see all the details. So I'll take
So
Yeah.
then you have to physically go to a bank
yeah.
teller.
Well, not even that. Usually I'll just end up going to the ATM and slide it in there, and it'll
I've
take
even tried that.
yeah,
Like
and it's
after I
shot it
tried
back
doing
at you.
after I tried doing the mobile thing with my phone,
Yeah,
then on
Yeah.
my way home from that gig, I'll stop at the bank and I'll try to put it in through the ATM, and the ATM doesn't take it either.
really. Okay. Now I've
Yeah.
That's
had, like I
just
said, I've
weird.
had it where it says can't do it through the mobile, and I've taken it to the ATM and it's been fine. Um, I haven't had anything, knock on wood, haven't anything, rejected. I had, I did have an uncle that had a problem where he got a check and it was for an event that was written to him and he deposited it. Now, the problem with what he did was he would deposit it into his checking account and then he was writing checks off that money. So then he was all of a sudden getting hit with well, that was a bad check, and now you're sending out money that you don't have to cover it. So he had multiple hits. I don't have that problem. This is what I do. Any money that comes in, I put it into the savings. That way it has time to clear. And then anything that I pay bills on, I shift it then, or I already have money in the checking.
Yeah, you'll transfer from
Yeah.
from the savings to the checking. Yep.
Yeah. So
And look,
and it helps me for accounting. It lets me easily find the incomes I've gotten from this. So,
see, in New Hampshire, now that you just brought that up, Kevin,
uh,
I don't live in New Hampshire anymore, but I did for many years. Now, like what you just said, what they said to your uncle, you were writing checks on something that was not available.
yeah.
New Hampshire has a charge on that, and you can get criminal charges because they think you knowingly gave them a check that you knew wasn't going to clear.
Uh, but he didn't. He just,
Right.
he was
No,
counting
of
on that.
course he didn't.
He was
Right,
counting on
right.
that money that he got to be legit and deposit it, and then
Absolutely.
he could
Yeah.
do, and so he was getting extra hits. Now it eventually did get righted by the bride and groom, but it was just a hassle. And I try to eliminate all hassles by if that should happen, I'm putting it in the savings. I'm going to get notified. Yeah, I'm going to get hit, but I'm not writing payments to others on that money that hasn't cleared yet. That's why I put it in the savings.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I put everything into my checking account because I got a lot of bills that
So
are
don't I.
on auto pay.
Well, I
Right.
still have
Right.
auto pay, but like I said, I have it set up. We're going into a banking realm versus, which is interesting topic. I have, like I said, it just makes it easier for me to look at my records, and I know on my savings everything that's in there is something DJ related, whether it was cash, whether it was a check, whether it was Zelle. Well, Zelle, I think, is maybe you can't do it into the savings, but I try to push everything there. Then as I need to pay bills, I keep, like 500 or whatever I keep into that. And it lets me know when I'm getting low. I have it set up like, hey, you're down to 100. Oh, I'm going to move a little bit more.
Yep.
So sort of the income is on the saving side, the outgo or expense side is on the checking side. It's just,
Boy, he's making me jealous. I don't have anything I can move from side to side ever. Damn you, Kevin.
uh, I try to have something to move.
You know, I do have a savings. Actually, I don't. My wife does. She has savings and checking.
Mhm.
We have to keep $5 in the savings.
Oh,
Well, I'm not embarrassed to tell you guys. There's always $5 in that account. Otherwise, we'll get charged.
yeah.
Mm,
Look, I'm not a big plan for my retirement day, or, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this job, we don't
yeah, a
get
lot of us are
taxes taken out of us, or,
right.
and we don't
Uh,
get sick days. We don't get, if we're out sick or the venue closes because of a pipe issue,
Mhm.
we're out that money,
Yeah,
period. We're not getting paid. We're not salary. We're
yeah.
not,
We're working
you
paycheck
know,
to paycheck.
we're
yeah.
week to week. That's right,
Yep.
Matt. And but just to add to what Kevin was saying, it's like, you know, it seems like Kevin's got his stuff under control where he can move things around if needed. You know,
Yeah.
I commend you for that, but I do want to mention that he did forget my birthday, which was, a couple. Did you not get my Venmo or
I
what?
thought I sent you a singing lady and she sang a happy birthday at your door.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
I
nurse,
didn't get that. I didn't
Oh, you
get
didn't
that.
get that?
That was a mailman looking for a
like from Ferris
COD.
Bueller's Day Off,
Yeah.
you remember the naughty nurse from Ferris Bueller?
No, I don't. And you
Oh,
know
no.
what? Don't even bring that up to these viewers. I don't think they're,
This is G-rated. That's right. So, but I as far as red flags, I guess if I had that problem, my problem is I've noticed a decline in places. Where so that's my red flag. It's like, oh, there's no one coming in. Well, if there's no one coming in, what do they need me for? So
right.
it's one of those
Well,
things where they
You
just
kind of expect it. You're
yeah, it's
like,
like I expected. I didn't get bouncing checks or anything like that. Now, any new place, I do try to just to make me feel easier at ease. Is I prefer at least initially is like at least the first event or whatever is just a contract for each event time. But they like, oh, we don't need that. It's like, well, but it makes me feel good, but they don't really want to do it. And
mhm.
so it's that first time. Are you going to get that check? Is it going to be legit? That's the worry. That's why when I'm doing DJing stuff, I want the money up front, because there's unscrupulous people out there that, if they can get a free
You
wedding.
want to be paid
Yeah.
within 2 weeks
Yeah.
prior to, right.
Yeah. So I don't demand it early. And I even had a situation where I got paid early and the event got canceled. I was just mentioning to Matt. It was a school dance. Schools usually don't pay you until after the event. If you're lucky,
Yeah, because I got to go through
yeah,
the finance.
yeah, through
Yeah.
the Treasury Department and authorize,
Yeah.
because it actually happened. They don't want to prepay. Well, this school actually
Right.
paid us, like, I think, a month early for a homecoming dance.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
So I got the money, because it was through the company I was working for, and then I got it in cash. So I hadn't done anything with it. It was still in its envelope. Well, that I was sort of saving it so that I could sort of consider, like, I just got paid for the event, even though I had it, like, 2 or 3 weeks early. Because there's some DJs, KJs out there that don't like getting paid early, because then they feel like they're doing the event for free. So
I'm actually one of those guys sometimes.
Yep.
I want something the day
yeah,
of.
the day of, you feel like you didn't do it, you did it for nothing.
Right.
My uncle, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing. But anyways, the homecoming dance was coming up, and the night of the football game, Friday night, one of the contestants for being crowned, I think it was during their pre-walk show on the field, either after that, at some point, she collapsed, she was rushed to the hospital, and she died.
Oh my God.
So, needless to say, they decided not to do the dance the following night. So I had to give back the money. Now,
Luckily for you, you didn't spend it.
I didn't spend it.
Right.
And so that was sort of in a good way to sort of do that and make you feel like you got paid for the event. Now that I didn't do the event, I give the money back. So, like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I don't run any shenanigans. So if I don't like shenanigans run on me, and I don't run shenanigans on anybody else. So
What if it's a situation where, like, they've got you locked in for, like, so let's say they have you locked in for all their school dances throughout the whole year,
yeah,
right? And every dance pays the same,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
So what if that money that they paid you for homecoming, okay, so that dance didn't happen, right?
Yeah, move
Then
it to the next dance. Yeah,
the next one.
yeah.
So, like, the winter dance,
Yeah.
then they don't have to pay you for that one because they already paid you for the homecoming
Either
one.
way, he's going to lose one of them, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like
That was an option that we gave the school, but
Yeah.
and they discussed it and decided they would just take the money back, because I don't know whether
Okay.
the next dance was going to be the prom. And a lot of times, different people are in charge of the homecoming dance. Teacher is different from the prom. They're not always the same people that are sort of the advisor for the different dances, because there's quite a few where one DJ, from one company will work one, and someone not connected might work the other. So I think there's either personal connection, or they've been using. My uncle did a school, the principal, they were religiously booked for, like, I think 10 to 15 years. Well, that principal retired. All of a sudden, my uncle wasn't getting booked for that event anymore. So I think there was someone new in charge, and they wanted to make it their own, or they had someone they knew. And so it can change. So, a lot of times it's whoever is booking you. If that person changes, you might not get that event again. So.
Well,
Hmm.
I was about ready to
Sign off.
no, not sign off. I'm getting these. I updated Zoom today. I keep getting these weird messages. Hopefully, we're still recording. But
We are.
Says recording on my end. Do we need to go ahead and
Okay,
mention
good.
the sponsors? I know I mentioned,
You already did. You
well, I
already
don't know
did.
that I've mentioned them specifically, did I? Or just support our sponsors, because without them, we are nothing. Do we want to mention them specifically, like DJ Event Planner and EV and Made by DJs and Pro
There you go.
Expert?
You just
I
did.
think you just did.
You just did it.
Thank you.
I just did. And also, don't forget, if you want to help us out, also there's that link for djntv.com/Amazon.
I've been waiting for that. Thank you, Kevin.
I just did it all tonight for you.
You really did.
You're the
You know,
all-star.
Kevin is my hero. But
You're
I
the
just want to
man.
end it. I want to end it with this because Kevin brought it up with red flags, so to
It
speak.
was in honor of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm the one, by the way. I'm just gonna say I received the bad check.
No, it was me.
Oh, you're the one that sent me that check? Oh,
No,
yeah. No,
you're
Kevin
not
sent
supposed to
me
throw
a
yourself
check.
under the bus.
Well, I'm
Why
going
I
to.
kept it in the dark.
Look, I'm not ashamed to. Whatever, it happens. Kevin sent me a check from my OnlyFans page, and it bounced. So,
Mhm.
and he was a good sport, and he Venmoed me that and the fee that my bank charged. So thank you, Kevin, and I
I
hope
heard you
you
did really well
enjoy.
on your first night on OnlyFans. You did like what you got like 43 million in one day?
Who, me?
That's
Uh,
amazing.
No,
uh,
I had like a tulip. I was swinging from a chandelier, and people loved it. Anyway, look, I thank you all for joining us. Leave your comments in the below.
yeah. Like,
In the
what's your red
below.
flags?
Yeah.
Mine?
No, I meant
Uh,
for
No,
people
them.
leaving comments. Leave your red flags for other people to know whether they should be starting to look for other locations.
I do believe there are a lot of red flags that we may
Have
overlook.
overlooked.
You
Yep.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you one real quick. Well, let's go around the room. Just give us one red flag, and we've all overcome them. I had a venue I was doing for several weeks. I come in one week, and this is a venue where they had Keno, which is a
Mhm.
lottery.
Yeah. State sponsored.
And Matt, right, exactly. Matt's never heard of Keno
You don't
or
have it on here.
seen it,
We got it
but
here.
yeah. So those of you viewing who know what Keno is, which I believe a lot of you will, all the Keno screens were up, and there was a sign where you would go and put your tickets up to pay for these, saying Keno not available. Sorry for the inconvenience. This went on for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I thought at first, probably like what all the patrons were thinking was, okay, problem with lottery or the internet or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then I later found out that it was that their check bounced to
Mhm.
the lottery when they came to collect.
Mhm.
Now, if you ask me, all now look, I look at Keno as gambling, right?
Mhm.
It's all cash that they have to give you cash to
Yeah.
play these. Even a scratch ticket at a convenience store or Powerball has to be in cash. Am I wrong? You
Yeah.
can't do that on a debit.
No.
So if this venue collected cash for all this, he should have that. And believe and look, they make a percentage on that cash
Mhm.
every time.
Yeah.
So that was a red flag for me. They were down for 2 weeks, and I'm not going to go any further with it because I don't want to badmouth. I don't want to. And I'm actually still at this venue, and I'm not going to name names. But Matt, do you have a red flag that?
Yeah, I guess I could, as far as like attendance goes, you just kind of notice that it's, I mean, at first, let's say like the first night,
That's a good point, by the way. Attendance. Yes.
yeah. Say like the first night, you get a whole bunch of people there, and it makes you look good to the owner or whatever, right?
Right.
And then after that first night, some of them might come back, but it kind of drops off a little bit. And then you notice that for like a string of like maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or something like that in a row, where there's like nobody there.
Yeah.
And then you all of a sudden, you're like, okay, when is he going to drop the hammer? You know it's coming.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
If I may. That first night, it's huge. Kevin's laughing, but just hear me out. That first night is big because everybody is like, this is something new. Let's go check out Matt at this whatever place it is.
Yeah.
And hopefully they've been
even
advertising it leading up to it.
They did.
right. But it has nothing to do with Matt's name, and they don't even know who Matt is. Matt is the KJ or whatever at this, Hey, I like karaoke. Let's go try it. So of course you're gonna get a busload. I'm exaggerating, but you're gonna get a bunch of people in there curious, right?
Yep.
Now, just take a step back and think. From that moment, you get these people in there that first night. How much of this, now think about this seriously, falls on you, whether they come back or not?
Maybe half or less.
I think less.
Yep.
Let me explain why. It's got to do with service they receive that night through their staff. It's got to do with their drink prices, the food prices.
If there is
people
food.
are like, if there is food, but I think a majority of the places have some kind of food. Or no.
Not really.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Skip the food. So yes,
That's a red flag too. If there's no kitchen,
food.
If there's no kitchen and they don't even serve pizzas there, and they don't allow outside food to come in, that's a red flag too.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Matt, and we'll get to that in 1 second if you allow me a few more minutes.
Go ahead.
So it's got to do with the syrup. Kevin's still laughing. I love him. He's over there giggling, but it's got to do with
proceed.
No, it's got to do with the service.
Yeah.
Number one is the service they received while they were there.
Bingo.
Actually, I think maybe that be number one is probably prices for the drinks. 2 would be the service they receive. 3, if they had food, and I'm saying if, what time did that kitchen close? Could they still order when they were there? Right? That's a big, I don't know about you guys, but people like to eat, and
Absolutely.
especially after 10 p.m. I don't care where you're at.
Yeah. There was one place I played
you
at where they
that
didn't
kitchen
have
at 9, right?
There was a place I played at where they didn't serve food at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all. They
People
didn't even have popcorn. They didn't even have popcorn. Nothing.
They didn't want the health department coming in and coming down on them. So if you don't have food, they don't have a reason to come in.
I guess, but you know what? I'm gonna end it there. It's gonna be service, prices, food.
Yep.
I think those are the 3 main, and despite whether they were advertising or not, like Kevin brought up, it's not just on us. They need to promote. And Kevin, take it away because I believe you got something on this.
Promotion is key. And don't book me next week. You want to try to get a following. You want to put up those little plastic things, put it up in the
You
door,
need to promote it.
promote
Yes.
it, and I do as much as I can on my site, and I'll put it on Facebook event page, and any place I can do it, I put it through Facebook karaoke groups in Ohio. So I
Mhm.
put it out there.
Table tents, flyers, a banner,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, they got to do that. And he,
Girls in bikinis on the street holding signs.
oh, the
You
little
know,
arrow sign they're spinning.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, even in the middle of
Whatever
winter,
makes it
even in the middle
work.
of
Yeah.
winter in Ohio.
I did that, but I couldn't get anybody to come in, and I thought I looked damn nice in my speedo.
No, you were wearing a bikini.
Oh,
Uh,
Kevin, you crack me up.
oh,
I bet you
oh.
did look good in your speedo.
Yeah, it was
But
an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka
I
dot
don't know.
bikini.
To me, also maybe a red flag goes to the food. If it's priced insanely low, then it's to the point where you figure the food and the drink sales have to cover you. But if they got it
mm,
so low that they're almost giving it away, they'll never get to the amount to cover your cost. So they need to be
I,
competitive.
I feel the
Not,
same way about the drink prices, though.
well, that's what I'm saying. The one
Yeah, yeah.
place they were like a
Right.
dollar.
Yeah. Mm,
So how many
Yeah.
dollars are you going to have to sell to get to cover the
mm.
karaoke?
Yeah, and with the food, how fresh is that
That's
food?
a great point, Kevin.
Remember,
Yeah.
remember that Chinese place you went to where you had that bad chicken wing or something? You said it tasted off
Oh yes, 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 yes,
like that. You know what I mean? Like if they're
yes,
serving bad wings, then you
yeah.
know.
Freshness of the food. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you know what? It's expected to get a bad chicken wing or a undercooked whatever,
Shouldn't
especially
be.
in a bar. If you go to a restaurant, 99 or, yeah, that's terrible.
yeah,
But you got these people, look, let's face it. They hire these teenagers or whatever to throw these things in a deep fryer or.
yeah.
No, think about it. They're not professional cooks. And
They don't know how to rotate stock and
you're bound to get something bad here and there at a bar. I mean, I've had an undercooked hot dog for crying out loud at a bar. To me, you can eat a hot dog raw. It's not going to make you sick.
No,
Really. You don't have to.
already
Right,
cooked.
right, right, right.
yep.
But I
And he
mean,
knows
it's
about his hot
just,
dogs because he
I
was a
know a
hot
lot about hot dogs.
because he was
Yeah.
a hot dog guy.
Is that back to the only fan
I
we're talking about?
Oh no,
I
no.
still am a hot dog guy. Yeah.
He he had a hot dog cart.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, you know what, even Matt? I forgot about my hot dog cart. Yeah. But I did. It was short-lived and it was fun. But anyway, you're not gonna get 100%. This is my point. At every venue you go to. And in fact, if you've got judgmental people who go to these venues, you are going to get a bad review. You're going to get something negative. And it's inevitable. Am I wrong, guys?
Nope.
It's just
Yeah.
people will nitpick
Oh,
and
totally. Especially
find
nowadays.
something wrong. You
Yep.
know?
Especially with Yelp and everything now, they'll just
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can go they can
It's
just open up their phone and while they're there,
Yeah.
and
right,
go,
right.
I
Yeah.
just had a bad plate of chicken wings or something,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or the
Kevin
or the
just
or
played
the bartender's
Kevin
grumpy.
just played Will Smith right after he smacked the shit out of yeah, no, no.
Or the
No, but
bartender's grumpy,
this
or
is
we
the
had a bad
world.
server.
Yeah.
This is the world we live in, guys. I mean, it's not fun.
Everyone's a critic.
It,
Literally.
you know what? You couldn't have said it better right there. Everyone is a critic, right?
Yeah.
Including ourselves, right, guys? Think
Well,
about it,
yeah. And the other thing is
right?
now there's a media, a market, so you can be a critic. In the past, it's like, in the 90s, the 80s, how could
Yeah.
you could tell your friend, you could tell a family member, you could tell a neighbor, but there was no way to just let the world know I went here and I had a horrible experience. Don't go there. Now it's Yelp, Google reviews. There's a plethora of places to
Yep.
tongue twister to put reviews out there.
I'll even waiting
And
to use
above
that
and
word in a
beyond,
conversation. Plethora.
above and beyond what Kevin just said, now you're better off just keeping your opinion to yourself.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went somewhere and you didn't like something for some, just shut up. Just don't go back there. You know, don't stop posting bad social media, and it's like because we all have a right, which I believe, and that right went away somewhere, to our own opinion, right or wrong.
Yeah.
We don't have a right to our own opinion anymore. Once you post something,
You've taken a
everybody
side.
is on you. They're all on you.
Well, you've taken a
You're
side.
gonna get yes. And what happened to uh what help me out? Um
Common
I just
sense.
Not common sense. Just like whatever happened to a right to your own opinion
Yeah.
or
And it somehow it made you pigeonholed you into, oh, well, you're one of them. Like, no, I just have an opinion. Everybody has.
this world is divided right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
it's a shame. Yeah.
So that's why you
Yeah.
just got to be Switzerland. Just be neutral.
Sometimes, you know what, Kevin? And by you saying that, I believe what you're trying to say is by being neutral is just don't say nothing at all. Keep your opinion to yourself,
Yeah.
and that's going to save a lot of headaches for everybody. You guys agree? I mean, it's a shame we've come down to this, and we've gone way over time here. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still going to get aired because if they're listening to what we're saying before they post it, they're going to agree to it.
Yep.
I
Totally.
don't know how we got from where we started till here, but I think it's necessary, really.
Totally.
It's
Yep.
just, it's I'm
Yeah.
still trying to think what I was trying to get at there with right to your own opinion, freedom of speech, but that's not even what I was looking for. It'll come to me. We'll do another show. What the heck?
Yeah. When you think of it, we'll do another show.
Yeah, but not tonight. I'm tired. Listen, guys, I love you. We'll talk to you guys, see you three, and you guys viewing, please come back. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. DJ and TV News, they got a bunch of good stuff that they put up weekly on YouTube. If that's how you found us, keep searching because you're gonna like what you see. Until then, good night, everyone.